guys, I just wanted to make a quick tutorial on about how to massively improve your chances of getting an EX rate pass. On the first note, I would just like to say that I'm sad that the eminent YouTubers are just showing you their EX rate passes and, not exactly telling you what to do except trainer tips. Kudos for that. He only partially covered the topic in his video about EX rate passes. Now I'm gonna do is go into detail on about how every one of you can get an EX rate pass, and I'm not talking about sponsored gyms, I'm talking about ordinary gyms in states and cities that don't have sponsored gyms. Okay, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, there are a few things that you will need. You will need a real-time map, like Gym Hunter, Rocket Map, Safari Sud. I'm not trying to advertise any of those, but you will definitely need, because you need to know at what time the raids are held, Now, you can do any level raid, 1, 2, 3, it doesn't matter. And the second thing you'll need is a social chat that has a Pokemon channel like Messenger, Discord, or something like that. Because you need to know what gyms the raid passes were previously issued. Okay, those are the two things. Let me just show you real quick. Okay, so this is the Gym Hunter. In the previous video I showed you what gyms are eligible. Now this shows all the gyms, but for this tutorial's sake, let's say that this is the EX eligible gym. Okay, so you can see that this is a raid level 2, remaining 8 minutes. So you know that you need to raid it at this particular time. Okay, this is it. Now the next thing, let me just open it real quick. Now the social chat. When the EX raids passes are sent out, people in those channels will, take a screenshot of their phone and say I got an EX raid pass. So you can see from here that the gym is called Nature Tree Mural. This is just for tutorial sake and so on, And this is the next gym, for instance, and so on. So at this point in time, you already know what gyms will host an EX rate pass. Now the important thing is here. If, let's say for instance, this is the day 1, this is the previous EX rate pass that was issued for the raid that will be held, let's say, at day 8. Then you know in this period you need to raid other gyms, because no ordinary raids will be held in this gym, gym 1 for instance, in this period. So you need to raid other gyms. Let's say I called it gym 2 for instance, and so on. Okay, the next thing. Now this is what you need. Okay, so this is the system. Now I will just theoretically point out a few things, and then I will show you on this map how to pick the gyms for you. Okay, now this is the most important thing. Number 1, raid only at gyms that have held EX raids before. Now Niantic now and then pops up the new gym that hosts an EX raid, but mostly the EX raid are held at the same gyms. I will show you later on the map. Now the next thing, number 2, at any given week cover at least 3 EX raid cells. Now I will show you on the map too what I mean. Basically, try to cover in the town more areas than one. I will show you later what I mean. Number 3, don't raid in cells that have too many EX eligible gems. Now don't waste your time if the cell has I don't know, 5 gems. Let's say for instance I will open the map and show you. Okay, now this is the map that shows only EX eligible gems. Now you can see this is my hometown Zagreb. Now I think there are around 60 EX eligible gems. Now the red ones are the gems that never held an EX raid before. Now this is March 2018, and the purple ones have held EX raids before. Now let's take this cell. Now this is the cell. Basically the map is covered over with S2 cell that has a particular number of gems in it. Now that's just the Niantic's way of their EX raid system, but not only that, but that's not important for this tutorial. Now let's take this cell for instance. Now it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gems in it. Now it has 4 gems that have held EX raids before and 3 that don't. Now personally, I wouldn't waste time on that cell, because you know you already have 7 gems to cover just in this area. Now of course if you have the time you can do that, but personally I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, let's move on. Now you can raid once at the same gym. Now you don't need to raid multiple times. You know, I raided the particular gyms only once, and I got an EX raid pass, so that just proves my theory. You can raid only once, no problem. And you can raid any raid level, 1, 2, 3. You don't have to raid a legendary raid, you know, to get an EX raid pass. That's no problem at all. And this is the point I mentioned earlier. Now, if the gym is scheduled to host an EX raid, then raid at other gyms in that cell, because the gym will not host any raids until the EX raid is finished. Okay, so this is the system, and I promise you, if you follow the system, I can almost guarantee you that you will get your EX raid pass. Now I have already had 3 EX raid passes. I got 3 Mewtwo, so you can trust me, I know what I'm talking about. So I will show you now on the map how to pick the gems to raid. Okay, so for instance, okay, now you can see there are many gems. So which gems should you raid? Now I'll show you on my example. Now I live somewhere around here, okay, and I work somewhere around here. Now this makes convenient for me when I'm home to raid gyms around here, and when I'm at work, after work, I raid gyms around here. So, okay, so let's say for instance that at this gyms the raids are previously held. Okay, now for instance the raids will be held at this gym, so you know you don't have to raid this gym. And let's say for instance this gym will host an EX raid, and for instance this gym will host an EX raid. Now you know you don't need to raid them, because no raids will be held in that period. Okay, now you narrowed a couple of them down. Okay, now I wouldn't raid at this cell at all because, like we said, there are too many gems in this cell. I wouldn't raid any of other cells that don't have purple gems, you know, because that's just, in my opinion, a waste of time. So let's say here, for instance, I think the raids, EX raids will never be held here. So don't raid at any gems that don't have purple gems, in other words, that never held an EX raid before. Okay, now, what gems would I raid? Now, number one, I would raid this one because this is the only EX raid in this cell. I would cover this one. I would cover this one. I would cover this one. And probably this one. Okay, now you can see, out of all the gems, you now have only 4 to cover. If you have the time, of course, you could raid this gem too, and those two. You know, don't raid just one of them. If you want to raid in this cell, raid 2 gems, so you cover the whole cell. Because it's possible if you raid this gem, it's possible the X raid would be held here, and you know, you missed your chance. So if you need to raid, for instance, this cell, raid all the gems in the cell. And of course, if you have this, for instance, this situation, one gem that hosted an X raid and one that don't, I would personally only raid this, and I wouldn't raid this. The same thing goes here. You see, there are 3 gems. I wouldn't raid those 2. I would only raid this one. Okay, so guys, this is it. I hope this helped you a lot. I promise you, if you stick by this system, you will most definitely get an EX raid pass. Now, if you like this video, please share, like, and subscribe. Peace out.